What up, everybody? Live feed updates. Large in part, this is for the 10th because I just checked before I went on here. Everybody's asleep as the time of me recording this. Um, so let's see. Um, this is kind of a sporadic thing because I really try to give y'all just any of the gossip and gameplay talk and skip over anything that's um, not interesting because honestly, um, that's what I want when I um, watch. That's what I watch for is the gameplay talk. Um, so for the most part, I guess Omarosa made some comments about the other side of the house being the White Girl Alliance, which is funny considering not all of them are white and not all of them are girls. So, yeah. Um, I guess there was some conversation between Omarosa and Shannon that broke down to pretty much Omarosa accusing Shannon of having a deal with Mark and accusing her of having a deal with everybody in the house. And then Shannon saying, I thought you had a deal with Chuck. And then them proceeding to deny those accusations. So nothing was really hammered out or anything. And at one point, Keisha came in and it was large in part the same thing. Her saying, I thought you had to deal with Chuck. And she's like, well, what then? Why were you defending Mark so much? And she really wasn't defending Mark more so than just not wanting to use the veto in a pointless fashion. I mean, so many people flipped out when Paul was telling people to use the veto in ways that made no sense and stuff. And that's pretty much what this was. I even put out a tweet about it because people more focused on the word bullying because and thinking that I was saying Paul was a bully. That's not what I was getting at. Because I'm a huge Paul fan. It's the fact that they were trying to control the House and control the veto, even though they didn't win the veto. Paul did that, but they're not Paul. Neither one of them are Paul. This isn't Big Brother 19. You don't have a bunch of people that are following you mindlessly like they did Paul. You're not a puppet master. You're not a mastermind. You're not Paul. You can't tell everybody how to use their deal. You can meet and you can discuss it and you may be able to convince them, but you weren't convincing Shannon. And let's see, Shannon won 2 competitions back to back. And you just treated her like she was nothing and that her opinion didn't matter. And that was so stupid. I expected more out of Omarosa because she has worked in politics, and you would think that they would know how to do those deals. She was on The Apprentice. Did she not learn the art of the deal? Um. So there is that. Then we go and we find out that Ross is telling Brandy and Marissa and Ari that that's the real final four, that he's faking a deal with Shannon and James. Um, and so here, a lot of people are like, okay, that has to be the group, the real group. But I think Ross is playing both sides, and whoever is winning is going to be the ones he goes with. But I really hope that James and Shannon make a deal with Mark at some point soon. Um, I honestly I was shocked that Ross won HOH. Um, that happened while the cameras were down. That's also when Omarosa ended up in the hospital. Omarosa's back, and they said that there's like a breathing machine in her room now. And so it looks like it was an asthma attack. But she was gone for like a really, really, really long time. So, and the feeds were down for a really, really long time because by the time the feeds came up, Ross was in his HOH room. So I don't know what was all going on there and how bad it was and everything else. But during that time, it seems I don't know if she was just playing to the crowd and of people in the house or whatever, but um, Keisha was claiming that she came to the conclusion that Omarosa caused most of the drama that was there, and honestly, I kind of agree with that sentiment. I don't know if she really does or not, and if she's going to continue to kind of team with Omarosa. But we'll see when um, well, Omarosa's back now, and I'm guessing that she came back while the feeds were down again, because I was watching and they were talking about the um, nomination ceremony, and they're like, well, yeah, that's going to be in about 20 minutes. And the feeds went down in about 20 minutes, and Omarosa was not there. I was flipping those cams to see if I could find her. She was not there. In fact, during that time period, Keisha was alone in her room, and everybody else was out in the main deal. Oh, this is a this is game talk, but I don't necessarily consider it game talk. But Meta um, was we've actually now confirmed Meta was confused when he was voting, and he was trying to say that he was voting for Chuck to stay in the house, but that's not what he said. And so he was talking to Ross and pretty much was saying that because he wasn't nominated to leave last week and he found that disrespectful, that he's going to win HOH and nominate Shannon and James for eviction. Number one, Shannon didn't make the nominations, and James didn't make those nominations either. Keisha was the one that didn't put him on the block. So the whole thing doesn't make sense. And I've never seen somebody threaten somebody to nominate them. It's funny. But um, so now when the feeds come back up, it's looking like Ross nominated Omarosa and Keisha because Omarosa came back during the time that the feeds were down. So there was talk by Ross if Omarosa didn't come back that he was going to nominate Keisha and Meta, and that if one of their four won the veto, being Ross, Marissa, Ari, and Brandy, that they would use it, pull Meta down, and put Shannon up and vote Shannon out. So, yeah, he's definitely not working with Shannon and James. I hope Shannon and James realize this. And I hate when the two people I want to see at the end aren't working together, because I really want Shannon and Ross to be at the end. But there you have it. Live feed updates. To the best of my ability, feeds were down quite a bit yesterday. It seemed there's quite a few times I checked in and there was not they were off. So peace.